the ability to exercise influence, and influence is the ability to bring about change. Now, this is the basis of their study, and that's why they're talking about influence. Power is the ability to exercise influence, and influence is the ability to bring about change. Okay. So that's where they start off. I know this is an old study, but it's very important. Okay. Power and leadership. Power can be seen as the ability to induce change in one's environment. So power can allow us to change our environment. Back to this example. If these organizations who all had power had exercised power in a different manner, that's if they had all gotten together and said, look, we got a bunch of bad loans, what are we going to do about it? What could they have done? They could have created a pool of capital amongst themselves and bailed themselves out. But instead, they didn't do anything. But they had the power, right, to change the environment. But instead, what happened? The environment changed them. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. So the second point, and this is I think is probably one of the most important parts of this, is there's a synergistic effect that stems from some combinations of power. And not all forms of power are equally effective. Okay, now what does synergistic mean? Okay, in a simple way, we say 2 plus 2 or 1 plus 1 equals 3. The effects are greater than the sum of the parts. Okay? The effects are greater than the sum of the parts. So if there are 5 sources of power, this time I got the R on there. If there are 5 sources of power, and each of those has a value of 1, the source of power together may be 7. Because they work together. Okay? So that's important to understand. And then the third is effective leaders rely more on some forms of power than others. Okay? Make sense? Questions? Oops. Oh, that's right. Okay, so this is the beginning of the reading now. The basis of social power. It is necessary to distinguish between the different types of power in order to account for the varying effects found in studies of social influence. In other words, French and R.Lyman are saying, look, it's not just power, but it's different kinds of power. And we know different things about different kinds of power. And what we want to be able to do is to talk about those different kinds of powers and talk about some of the implications of those. And that's why this guy, Yuckel, was so important, because he added to their work. Okay, and we'll see how. Now, part of this process is psychological, part of it is sociological.